That was great. Hi, my name is Jess Lam, and I'm the Director of Product here at OpenSpace. I've been here for almost 5 years, but I actually got my start in construction technology working on SiteScan, a drone mapping and modeling solution later acquired by Esri. When I was first working on drones, I had dreams of bringing interior capture and marrying that with the captures from above. So this year, when I got the opportunity to start working on OpenSpace Air, I got to see that dream come true. When we launched OpenSpace Air in May, one thing we didn't tell you is that it was the first step in building the vision of our visual intelligence platform. For a visual intelligence platform to deliver the most value to our customers, we need all of your reality data in one place so we can generate insights and you can take action. Historically, OpenSpace Capture has primarily been used during the build phase of construction. But with OpenSpace Air, you can start capturing before you even sign a contract, opening up value during the bidding and pursuit phase of work, during planning and pre-con, and with earthworks and managing everything happening on your site from above. Now we're going to jump into the product and go over some of the use cases we've learned about from our customers. And before we do that, I want to thank Lee Kennedy, a general contractor in the Boston area, for providing today's demo site and tons of valuable feedback during the development of OpenSpace Air. With OpenSpace Air, we make it easy to upload images from any drone. Your teams don't need to change their workflows in the field, and we automatically generate orthomosaics, meshes, point clouds, and elevation models. And then you can bring your drawings and site plans and overlay them onto the orthomosaic. This opens up opportunities to start understanding the site before you've even won the bid. You can plan the first phase of work where materials are going to be delivered. You can manage QA, QC, and earthworks with overlays. And then as you start to capture more and more, you can use tools like Split View to see how the site's changing over time and compare up to 4 different captures at the same time and drill into specific areas to understand what changed and when. And when you want to get a quick assessment on the elevation of your site, where water might be running or pooling, or just a quick glance at any excavation that's going to be happening, you can pull up the elevation heat map. At the end of each month, when you're writing your client updates and reports, you can include the drone imagery from OpenSpace Air and shots of the 3D mesh to give your client a clear picture of the progress that's being made and continue building that trust. And lastly, when you're running your weekly coordination meetings, you can start off with a picture from above, and with a click of a button, you can jump into the interior of the project and really get into the weeds. So you're knocking out issues and moving on to that next phase of the build even faster. Our goal from the beginning with OpenSpace Air was to make it as easy to use as possible. And the data shows that. We have nearly 1 million images uploaded to OpenSpace Air from sites all over the world. I've been particularly excited by the adoption of our overlays feature. All the site plans, utility plans, pour plans that your teams are uploading and aligning to check reality versus the plans you have to finish this project. Now let's zoom in a bit. You already heard from Gil Bain during the video before this session, but I wanted to highlight the way that we build product here at OpenSpace. We partner with customers like Gil Bain early in the development process, both at a high level, understanding what features to prioritize when to deliver the most value, and then getting into the weeds with their teams in the field and identifying any rough edges to save your teams as much time as possible on getting the value out of the technology you're investing in. Now, the moment many of you have been waiting for, especially those of you who have already been using OpenSpace Air, a peek into what's coming next. Visual intelligence platforms are more than just storage for your reality data. It's about turning insight into action. That's why I'm excited to be launching measurements in the coming weeks. That will allow your team to do distance measurements, take area, volume, cut fill, all from the same place you're already doing 360 capture. So you can manage QA, QC, earthworks, all from one place. And with visual intelligence platforms, it's also about getting the data to where it needs to go. That's why we'll be launching exports so that you can get those orthos, point clouds, elevation models out of Air and into other tools like ArcGIS and Civil 3D to extend the value to other teams at your business. And we want to make sure that Air data flows into other parts of the OpenSpace platform. That's why we're going to be launching the ability to capture on your orthomosaics. So when you're on a project early and there's no structures that are showing up in the site plans, and you want to have an even richer context when you're capturing in 360, and now I'll be able to do that on the orthomosaic. And of course, accuracy is critical when it comes to reality capture. And so we're going to be launching georeferencing tools to ensure that your orthomosaics show up in the correct place on the map and that they're consistently aligned from capture to capture with just a couple clicks of a button. And that will ensure that measurements, overlays, and split screen work even better. And with all the amazing work that's been going into field notes that you're going to learn about more from Michael Jones in a bit, we know that it's critical to bring field notes into Air by allowing your teams to document issues and work them from within your drone captures, which will really supercharge your workflows. OpenSpace Air isn't just evolving, it's accelerating how we build. With these upcoming features, drone data becomes actionable intelligence, part of the flywheel powering smarter, faster fieldwork. OpenSpace Air is the first step for visual intelligence. From the first flight to assess site conditions to the final handover, Air gives your team the clarity and speed to take action. With OpenSpace Air, you can start generating visual intelligence on day zero, all in one place. If you're interested in learning more, reach out to get a demo today, and we can help you get started on transitioning all your data to OpenSpace.